I commend you on doing it. I know it was a tough issue for a lot of people, but, as I say, I'm prejudiced, I'm sure, in it, because I've had family members that have been involved in this, and it's very emotional, still for me. Time I have a minute.
You're recognized for that purpose.
Amend House Bill 642 on page 10, section 4, line 5, by striking the following employees and inserting in lieu thereof the following employers. So just changing from employees to employer.
It's on page 10, line 5.
This is an amendment that was a technical amendment by the staff here.
And then amend House Bill 642 on page 12, line 4, line 6, by striking the following identification and inserting in lieu thereof the following and identification.
The first one is changing employers plural to employers singular. It's purely grammatical. You guys must have
It's just technical amendment from the staff. Any questions on the amendment? We have a motion by Mr. Robinson, second. Mr. McMillan, to adopt this technical amendment. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no, and the amendment is adopted. Any other, Mr. Salon?
This is where I kind of hate to put a damp on our game of legislative pity patch this morning. I hate to be the legislative Scrooge, so to speak. I certainly have just been marveling how Ms. Todd is going as a legislative person with skill and competence, and I appreciate that, and I like that, but I don't like this bill. I really don't. But at the same time, I don't know whether that this light should rise to the level of working hard to try to kill it before we commit it this morning. But where is this marijuana going to come from? That's going to be given to these patients to take for compassionate medical purposes? What's going to be the source of provision?
Well, they could actually grow their own.
They can grow their own.
So they don't have to go to an illegal drug dealer to get it.
So how can we regulate them from becoming illegal drug dealers if they're growing their own marijuana?
Well, actually, you probably have more control over these people than you would actually illegal drug dealers where you don't know.
How can we have more control if they're allowed to freely grow marijuana?
Because you would know who was growing the marijuana.
Yeah, but I wouldn't know what they're doing with it. How could I regulate that?
Well, law enforcement should actually come in and make sure they're only growing X amount of plant for personal use and not for distribution.
I mean, but if they got a crop of marijuana that they're claiming to use grown for medical purpose, how do we go in and separate this acre that's for medical purposes and this acre which might be for illicit purpose?
Well, we're not talking about an acre, first of all. We're talking about a couple of plants that would probably be grown inside, if weather permitting. But you know, you don't now know who's growing marijuana or not, legal or.
Yeah, but if we discover them, they cannot hide behind the pretense of legality, because it's a crime for them to go and sell the marijuana. But in this context, there is a possibility of raising a pretense of legality. Is that correct?
Well, in certain conditions, and they would be allowed to grow, 2 to 3 plants for personal use. We're not talking about planting a whole acre of it for distribution. We're talking about a minimum amount that would be used for personal use only.
We hear a lot of talk about the possible benefit. And I don't believe that there's really anything in creation that you can't find a benefit, really, some kind of benefit if you look hard. So the question to me becomes balancing. the potential benefit from a situation against the detriment. Really a balancing utility test. I really can't say that there's no benefit. It may kill some trees and all this and that. But when we balance that against the potential harm of Pandora's box that this approach can possibly open up, then on what side should we come down? Weighing the benefit against the potential large-scale detriment.
Well, for me, it's important to remember that marijuana was legal for many, many years. It has been used for medical purposes for decades, hundreds of years. And until we made it legal. This is not a bill to make marijuana legal for open distribution. This is in very limited cases, very limited control over who uses it, how much they can have in their possession for use. We probably have more people addicted to prescription drugs than we do marijuana. I mean, I think, would we rather have people go out and, using heroin or Loretta or other, legal drugs that are highly addictive for individuals versus a natural substance that they can use in controlled quantities that is not addictive?
That's true, but at the same time, drugs don't have the aura of being a large-scale recreational utilized drug for the purpose of the stimulation of pleasure. That's the problem. That's how, unfortunately, marijuana and other recreational drugs have evolved in America, and we can't ignore those realities by simply glossing it over with talk about positive medicinal use.